Hello. So in this tutorial we are going to be designing this rocket arm, and this is actually I won't say it's very easy, but it's not that complicated either. So usually when you see a part like this, you just break it down into the little pieces, and that's how we are going to design this. So just start a new part file, and make sure you are in inch. So go to like your options, document properties, unit, make sure you're in inch, and click OK. And so the first thing we are going to do is we are going to start with this piece, and we're just going to model everything around this piece. So, and the way I always find the plane to draw on is if I click sketch before I select the plane, all my plane comes up, and looking at all this plane, and we're looking at this view, so I know I'm going to draw that on the front plane. So I select the front plane, and you just want to draw your cylinder. Make sure it is on the origin point. I'm just going to move it here so you can see. So we know the diameter of it is 1.75. So I'm going to 1.75. And now you're going to go to feature, extrude. And this is symmetrical because if you look, it is 3 and it's 1.5. So that means it's symmetric. So I'm just going to extrude it by the mid plane, and the distance is 3. And once you have that, click OK. Good. So now we have that. The next thing we're going to draw is this piece over here. So what you're going to do is, again, that's going to be on the front plane. So you're going to select the front plane, sketch, number 2. And I'm just going to zoom it over here because this is kind of in the way. Maybe I'll minimize this a little bit. So now what you want to do is just draw a circle. Make sure the center point of this circle and the origin point is horizontal to each other. And over here we know that the diameter for that circle is 1.38. So we can just add a 1.38. And now we're just going to draw a line somewhere up here, a line down here, and something like that. And make this line and this circle tangent, and the line and that circle tangent. And once you have all that, we're going to use the trim tool, and I'm just going to trim away all the excess line. Good. So we have that. We know the distance is from the center point to the back is 1.5 because it's 1.25 plus 0.25. So this distance is going to be 1.5. And we also know that the distance from here to the center point is 6. So from this center point of this circle to this center point of that is 6. So that is fully defined. So again, we're going to feature, extrude, again by the mid plane. So you drop down mid plane. Right here, this is symmetry. See, the 0.75 is symmetric, and the symmetrical, and the distance of this rib over here is also 0.25. So that is 0.75 plus 0.5. So because it is 0.25, 0.25, and 0.75. So that's the distance we want. So that would give us 1.25. So 1.25, and once you have that, so that will be the distance of that, and click OK. Good. So now we have that. The next thing we want to draw is this little round piece. If you look, it tells you over here from here to that face is 0.38 because we are not doing that now. We only just need to add the extra piece on this side because this side is much thicker than the other side. So we already have the 0.75 plus 0.5, which give us the distance to about right here. So we just need that extra piece. So on this face, sketch, and number 2, and I'm just going to you can draw a circle over here and make this circle and that edge co-radial. So once you have that, and now you're just gonna go feature extrude. The only extra piece we need to add here is 0.13. So 0.13. And I would measure everything once we're done, so it is gonna make sense. So it is gonna be 0.13, and click OK. And we're gonna go on this side and do the same thing, but you can bring this down, show that sketch, and click this face and sketch. And now select that sketch for this convert entity. So once you convert it to that side, then you can feature extrude, and this one is going to be 0.12, and click OK. So now if I measure the distance from, and I can just hide this sketch because I don't need it. So if I go to evaluate, measure from this face to this face, it is 1.5, which is exactly what it should be. Good. So I'm just going to close that and moving on. So now we are going to draw this rib over here. So what we're going to do is find that plane on the right plane, sketch, number 2. And I'm just going to draw a center rectangle or something like that. And the distance is going to be, say right here it is 0.5. So this dimension is 0.25. 0.25. So my keyboard is acting up a little bit. Let you go. 0.25. And let me try that one more time. 0.25. Enter. Okay. And the distance is going to be 1.25. So right here, the length is going to be 1.25. And once you have that, so that looks something like that. So go to your feature, extrude. You want to select up to surface, and you want to select this face. So you want to extrude it something like that, and click OK. Good. So the next piece we're going to draw is this top piece over here. So that one is going to be select on the front plane, sketch. So the first thing we're going to do is select this edge and convert entity, and now you just want to draw a line, something like that. Just draw a line that is coincident with that, and make that line and that convert sketch tangent to each other. And I'm just going to drag this out so make sure everything is touching. Then I am going to draw another line over here down, and something coming this way. So you have this profile, so I'm just going to trim those excess line off. So you should get a profile like this. So once you have your profile, what you want to do is feature extrude by the mid plane, and it is right here. That one is also 0.25, so you be type in 0.25, click, and click OK. Good. So once we have that, what we want to do now is just mirror it down. So we go to the mirror. We want to mirror it about the top plane, and the feature we are mirroring is this, and click OK. Good. So now we are done with this front part for now. So we want to make the same thing on this back end. So we are going to select the right plane again and sketch and number 2, and I'm just going to draw another center rectangle in there, something like that. And this one, the dimension is 0.38, so this is going to be 0.38, and the length is 2, right here, 2. So we're going to make that 2. And now we have that feature, and what we want to do is extrude and in the opposite direction, and from that center point back to this center point is going to be 6. So that's what we are going to extrude it at 6. So once we have that, and click OK. So once we have that, click on this top face and sketch, number 2, and what you want to draw. This part is not pretty clear, but what I think is going on is, if you look at this line is telling you, there's a line here, it's telling you that this rib is the same thing going around. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to draw, use your arc. So I think I'm using the 3-point arc, and make sure make sure the arc is coincident with these 2 edges and this center point and this edge, and make sure they are also, you can either use the midpoint or coincident. It's still going to give you the same result. So once you have that, it should be fully defined, and what you're going to do is feature, extrude. You want to extrude it in the opposite direction, you can do up to surface and select this surface. So you do something like that and click OK. Good. So we have that is done. Moving on, now we are going to draw this little round. So the SR means spherical radius. So if you look at it, it's just like the same radius going around this edge. So what we're going to do is, on the front plane, sketch, and we are just going to draw, again using the arc, select that edge and just draw something like this for now. And another thing I will show is this sketch for this. I'll show that for now. So so we want to make sure that, let me add my radius. So this is going to be 1.5. So again, we're going to make sure that this point and this point, the center point of that arc and the center point of that sketch, they are vertical to each other. So once you make it vertical, it stays, your sketch is fully defined, and that's what we want. And I'm just going to draw a line down here, and I'm going to trim this side off. Yes, we want to trim that side off, and make sure like this is a vertical line, and also make sure that this line, this point and this point, put them coincident. So good, everything is fully defined, and I'm just going to add another sketch here. So my sketch is fully covered, so now I'm just going to feature, revolve about this, and click OK. Good. So now the next thing we're going to do is, I can hide this sketch, I really don't need it anymore. So the next thing I'm going to do is on the front plane, sketch, number 2, and I'm just going to draw the same thing. You can take this edge, convert entity, and you're just going to draw a line coming down. And so once you have your line coming down, so make sure this line and this edge is tangent to each other. And you know what, this, I believe if you look over here, this point on this line is coincident with this edge. So that's what we're going to do. So select this circular edge and this point, and you want to pierce it. Press the pierce. So that is fully defined, and I'm just going to go number 2. So I'm going to drag this out, and we want to draw another line coming down, and just something like this. Make sure, well, you can just draw it this way for now. And now all you need to do is just trim. We're going to trim the excess one off, and everything is fully defined. This line is also horizontal with this point, so when you move it down, make sure you make it horizontal. So you can click this point and that origin point and make sure it's horizontal. So everything should be fully defined, and you have something like this. Then you go to feature, extrude by the mid plane, and the distance is going to be 0.25. So let's go 0.25. and click OK. Good. So the next thing we are going to do is draw this circle or cut this hole. So select this face, sketch, number 2. I'm going to draw a circle just somewhere over here, and select this circle and select this circular edge and make it concentric. So this is concentric with each other because you can see it from this line over here. So now the diameter for that circle is 0.75. And what you want to do now is feature, extrude cut, up to next. So once you have it up to next, good. So we have that, and the next thing we need to do, which is the last one to complete all this profile, is we are going to draw on the front plane, sketch, and again select this circular edge, convert entity, and we are going to draw and I'm going to section this. So let me section it so you see what's going on. Over here there is a radius of something over here that comes down. I know this is not pretty clear, but this is how it goes. So what you want to do is you want to draw a line over here, something like that, and make sure that line and that circle is tangent to each other, and we'll just leave it like this for now. And you want to draw an arc. Just draw an arc, something like this. Click 2 points and leave it like that, and make sure this line and this arc is tangent to each other. So the arc that I'm using is if I click on this drop down, is the 3-point arc. So once you have that, again you can just drag this line down to make sure everything is touching. And what you want to do now is if you look over here, it says from the end of the arc to, maybe if I zoom this up, from the end of the arc to this circle there is a 0.12 gap. So that's what we're going to do. So what we're going to do is just put a something over here. So I'm just going to click this point and I'm going to put a point right there. So, and it says from here to here is 0.12. So no, that's not what I'm going to do. So let me delete that. So I'm going to go like this. So select that point, and you want to put that point over there, but make sure that point and this circle, you want to pierce it. So that point should be on that circle. So that's what you want to do. So if I now go number 2, and if I section it, it should look like this. So that point is on that circle. So the distance from here to here is 0.12. So we have that down. I'm going to trim this off. If you look over here, it says the distance from the top part of it to the center point, so where the center point of this arc is 0.62. So that's what we're going to do. But let's add the radius to our arc. The radius for this is 1. Yes, 1. And I'm going to also put another point up here. So let's draw this line first. So I'm going to draw a line coming down this way, and I'm going to put a point up here so I can dimension to it. So it says from this point to here is 0.62, which is right here, 0.62. So now everything is fully defined. I'm just going to trim all this extra line off, and you should get a profile like this. And that is what this profile looks like. I'm sorry I'm taking longer to explain it. I just want to make sure I'm explaining it clear enough. So you should have a profile like this. Let me go number 2 so you see what's going on. So once you have that, I'm just going to feature. You want to extrude by the midplane, and that is also 0.25, and you're going to click OK. Good. So, and I'm going to improve my image quality because I don't like this being jagged. So just going to improve my image quality because I think it makes it slow. So good, we have the basic profile of this part down. The only thing we need to do now is just start cutting our O. So we start from here, click this face, sketch, we'll draw a circle over here, and so you want to find the nominal dimension between these two. So how you do that is you add everything, add both numbers and divide it by 2. So I'm going to do 0.998 plus 1 close parenthesis divided by 2. So that gives me that dimension. So I'm just going to feature, extrude cut through all, and click OK. Good. So again, then we want to do the same thing on the top plane. We want to draw this circle. So I'm gonna do sketch, number 2, draw my circle over here, and the circle, the diameter is 0.25. So 0.25, and so you see what we have. And I'm just going to feature, extrude cut in the opposite direction and up to next. So click OK. Good. And the next thing we want to do is draw over here. We want to cut this rib over here. So we'll click the top plane. On the top plane, sketch, number 2, and I'm just going to draw like a center rectangle, something over like this over here. Make sure it's not coincidental or anything, just move it over there. You want to make sure this center point of this rectangle and the origin point is horizontal to each other, and we know the distance is 0.75, so we're going to make that 0.75, and the distance from the back over here is 0.25. So from right here is 0.25, and all we need to do is just drag this out so that way it's cutting through our part. So you can just add a dimension to it, which is going to be you can add anything. Let's make that 0.25. So my sketch is fully defined, and if I measure from here to here, you can see it's 0.25, which is that dimension. So once everything is good, feature, extrude cut, we want to extrude cut through all on both sides, and click OK. Good. So we have that, and the last thing we need to do is this, cut this hole. So you can select this face, sketch, we'll draw a circle over here, select this circle and this edge and make them concentric, and the dimension for that circle is 0.5. It is right here, and I'm just going to feature, extrude cut through all, and click OK. Good. So we have pretty much our part is done. So the only thing you need to do now is add the radius to this, and I'm gonna just show you real quick how to. So click on your radius, and the radius is 0.12. So we're going to select 0.12, type 0.12, and let's do the front first. So do this front. So all you need to do is just go around, select all the edges. You can select the face, it doesn't matter. So because sometimes the radius is going to break because of how you add it. So you can just keep, you see that one is breaking, so we might have to add all this ones first, then come back later on and add that one to it after. So I'm just going to select all this edge and the bottom over here, there. So over here, let me try this face, that won't work. So I'm going to select this edge, so that's breaking. Let me try this, that's also breaking. So select this edge, and it's also on the inside. Select that inside edge right here, there, and there. and back here as well. So if it gets overwhelming, you don't have to add all the radius at once. So if it gets overwhelming, you can just accept that, and you find where you need more radius. So I still need radius over here, so I just select radius again. Now add it over there, over here, there, here. So you get the gist. You just gotta keep going around and adding all the radius. The radius would work if you ever come across a part where the radius isn't working. You probably have to add it in 2 instances, or you need to change the order of the radius. But you should be able to get all the 0.12 radius on this part. So I need one over here, I need another one over there, and I need another one over here. So I'm gonna click OK. I believe, see, I'm missing a radius over here, so I can edit this radius and add one over there. I click OK. So that is the radius for this part. So what you should do now is come to this part and just add the same thing over here, add the radius over here. So I'm just gonna come back here. Let me try to add one real quick. So I wouldn't start with this edge first, so I will try to add this ones. And this radius doesn't go over here, because if you look, so for that one, check the uncheck the tangent so it doesn't go around. And it does go around on the bottom, so you add it to that one. It's breaking, so I'm just going to add another radius over here. There you go. And right here, that's breaking right here. So you just pretty much add all your radius to wherever you can fit it for now. Some of it is going to break, but you can just go back and add it twice. Let me accept that for now. Then I'm going to add my radius over here. Here and there. There you go. And here and here and here, here, this corner, that corner, and the only part that's left is this top part. So let me see if I can get that in. It's breaking, so I'm just going to accept it, and for the last one I'm just going to come back, radius again, and add it to this top part. And there you go, and that is this part, and we are done. So you should be able to get all your radius in. Thank you. And I know this kind of took longer, but I like this part. It's a little bit complicated, but we got it through. Yeah, I'm still missing a radius there, but anyway, just go around and add the radius wherever you need it. Thank you, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye.